Okay. Does everyone see the screen okay? All right. So I think I'll get started. We're a few minutes past 11. So yeah, welcome to the EECS MEng info session. If you are attending this, then you've been admitted into the class of 2026. And yeah, we're happy to talk about the program today, um, pique your interest, answer any questions that you might have, and go over, basically the details of the Master of Engineering program here at Berkeley. So I hope everyone had a chance to take a look at some of these student stats. We have folks from all over the world um, who are going to be joining us in this program. Their different perspectives are, always a really refreshing and important aspect of, building tomorrow's leaders and, giving insight in collaborations and, part of the program, the highlight would be the research capstone project component. So it all adds to that and enriches the experience. So I'm happy, that we had such a diverse applicant pool. We had, I think, over 2,400 applications for this cycle. So congratulations again. I just really am happy to be here and share this program with you, and hopefully you'll join us in the fall. So I'm on the right. My name is Michael. I'm part of the EECS department. I've been the master's program advisor here for, oh man, roughly, I want to say like 8 or 9 years now, Alvin. A long time, a long time. That picture is very outdated, as you can see. Anyways, Alvin, who's here with us this morning, and then Sanjeet, who will join us a little later, are both serving as the co-vice chairs for the EECS master's degree programs. And so, Alvin, do you want to give a short intro about yourself?
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. And congratulations on your admissions to Berkeley. So, welcome to the virtual information session that we have today. So, as Michael introduced, I am Alvin Chung. I am a faculty member at EECS, primarily in computer science. So, yeah, so we have a wealth of different courses for you guys to consider, and also a bunch of research projects that might be of interest to you guys. So, hopefully, we'll see you all in the fall.
Great. Thanks, Alvin. So yeah, before I go into, I guess, the nitty-gritty details, just want to highlight a couple of upcoming deadlines, and then just share some information about our fellowships that get assigned to some of our top admins. But the SIR, so the Statement of Intent to Register deadline, is April 15th. If you need more time, just let me know. My contact information is at the end of the presentation. If you have any sort of issues with paying for the enrollment deposit, you can also apply for the enrollment deposit waiver. Um, Recipients of the Fung Institute Merit and Opportunity Fellowships for our department should all have been notified, or will all be notified by this Friday, April 4th. And so those are going out on a rolling basis. You'll receive a departmental letter first, much like you did for the admit letter. And then that'll, indicate the uh, award amount, the type of award, and then later on you should get an official kind of offer letter from graduate divisions. If you were not selected as a recipient, don't fret. There is a grant waiting list that you can apply for. And so those who apply for the grant waiting list will be notified. I think sometime after the SIR deadline or over the summer is when they calculate that, depending on, how our funds go. Okay, so I'll start by kind of giving an overview of the EECS MEng program structure. So the EECS MEng program is designed as a 1 year terminal master's degree. And so what that means, it's meant to help you kind of get the tools and knowledge and expertise by taking our graduate coursework and also the Fung leadership coursework, and then applying that towards a capstone project where you're working in groups, um, and that really I think sets people up for success for industry, and so that's kind of the aim and kind of the scope of this program. Um, it's over 2 semesters. So Berkeley operates off of the semester program. There's a fall and a spring term. We start the fall in late August, and spring ends around mid-May. So that kind of gives you a sense of time frame. Uh, so there's three kind of components, like I mentioned, the leadership breath, which is the leadership curriculum that you'll be taking concurrently with your technical coursework as well as your capstone project. And then 2 and 3 are basically right, the capstone project, and then the meat is maybe the technical coursework that you're taking. So it's 2 and 2 over the course of the year for 4 required technical courses, and they should relate or apply towards your capstone research or your research interests or align with your kind of industry goals. So that's kind of the aim. So this infographic again kind of just breaks it down by the courses. So you can refer back to this if you want. I also just pulled this off of the Fung website. So in your admissions letters, there were some links to kind of like the new admit events, and then also some resources. So this is part of that. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit, and then maybe Alvin can jump in too. But I think the highlight for this program not only is the capstone research, but also access to our EECS graduate coursework for a lot of people. And so for our department, we require 4 courses over the um, duration of the program. And so you'll be taking 2 per semester, and 3 of the courses should be taken from the lists for your area of concentration. What I mean by that is you received the admissions offer letter, and it indicated the area of concentration that you're evaluated for and admitted into. Um, we have a subset of graduate courses that are available to MEng students every semester. And then from that subset, there's specific courses that apply to different concentration. So, for data science, for by Inc., there's a different kind of set of courses. Obviously, there's people who have interdisciplinary or overlapping kind of research or career interests. And so we kind of offer additional flexibility in the sense that, 3 of those classes out of the 4 required need to be taken within your concentration, but then the fourth one you can kind of take from that subset of graduate courses each semester. So, the topics range from mezzanine classes, which are um, basically meant to help you ramp up and um, be prepared for more advanced topics courses. So those are kind of like our intro to ML, intro to data science classes, which are 200A and 289A for, say, maybe the computer systems or the data science tracks. Folks in other areas might be interested in intro to ML as well, since there's, a lot of different applications these days. But then there's also, for the Phi Inc. area, for instance, like the 251A series, which is the uh, intro to integrated circuits and the labs that accompany that, or you have intro to robotics and stuff like that. So those classes are meant to provide you a baseline. And then in the spring, you would be taking like the advanced topics classes. So we definitely encourage folks to explore and also take the time to consider the mezzanine classes, even though you are all coming from, the best and the brightest among your undergrad institutions. Um, Berkeley graduate coursework is, I think, a different beast in itself. And, Alvin, you can also elaborate on that. But yeah, we highly recommend that you kind of um, set yourself up for success and acclimate in the fall by considering some of these mezzanine classes. There's also advanced topics courses, like I mentioned. Those are like, 280, which is computer vision, parallel computing, 267. So those classes require you to have like kind of the prerequisites all considered or all taken, and you've done well in, ML courses leading up to being able to do well in these classes. So those are the advanced topics courses. Those are typically offered primarily, in the spring, but we also do have some in the fall. So, if you've taken a lot of the undergrad mezzanine courses, or you've already done a lot of the content, or you think you're fine in that aspect, then we do have the advanced topics classes each semester, and then there's special topics courses, which are not courses that are regularly taught like cyclically, but courses that are offered by our faculty, on special topics. So they could vary in different subject matter, and I'll let Alvin kind of talk more about that. But overall, we expect a 3.0 GPA for all of your coursework. But for your technical electives in particular, the EECS department requires that their grad students have a 3.5 or better GPA. And that's just because we want you to succeed, and we have high expectations for these students. But Alvin, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, so these classes are actually quite difficult, so I don't want to underestimate the difficulty of the classes. So I know you guys are the best and the brightest from your institutions, but like Berkeley classes tend to be of another caliber. So especially these classes are also taken concurrently by other students in the department as well. So these are either advanced undergrads, or like we have another program for like local undergrads from Berkeley. So that's also another master's program as well. So some of those students take these classes. And along with that, we also have PhD students taking those classes. So these classes, many of them are highly challenging, I would say. In fact, some of our course instructors kind of assume that that's like the students are only taking that one single class, which obviously is not true. So that's why I just don't want to underestimate the work involved in those classes for you guys. And keep in mind that in addition, right, to these courses, you folks will also be taking a bunch of classes from the management, right, department as well. So that's also going to add on to the coursework. So don't think of it as just the technical coursework, right? So we'll also have, in addition to this, the management training classes and also your capstone project. So yeah, don't underestimate this.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Okay. So next slide. Moving on, the capstone projects. So this is also like a highlight of the program is the capstone research project, which we within the department have faculty that are offering as part of this capstone marketplace, but there's usually around the end of July, the Fung Institute will send out a full list of the project offerings. Sorry, I didn't update this date here, but that'll change after this presentation ends. But yeah, so there's usually over 100 projects that you can kind of pick and choose from, offered by faculty and also industry partners from all over campus and all over the world. And so the basically there's two different kind of formats, I would say. There's the faculty-led project, and then there's also the industry-led project. Both are similar, but also different in their own aspects. Um, I think with I mean, and Alvin, you can kind of elaborate if you want, but the faculty-led projects tend to be a little bit more kind of research focused, and maybe building upon, prior teams or prior years students' work to, really explore a topic. Whereas the industry projects are, uh, more kind of like implementation or trying to like bringing something to industry or whatnot. I'll let you elaborate on that, Alvin. Do you want to say a few sentences about
Right.
that?
So as Michael said, we have two types of projects. The faculty-led ones are usually not necessarily like researching in the sense that like the goals are usually already determined by the time that the projects are proposed. So, but they might be more in the academic setting in the sense that it's something that may not have been deployed yet in the real world, or maybe something more like open-ended. So that's another way of putting it. The industrial projects tend to be more focused on working on something that they already have been building because it's a part of a product, for example, or part of something that they are planning to push out. So that's like usually how these industrial projects work. But they vary a lot, and but the good news is that we will tell you guys about like each of the project descriptions when you decide on which projects to apply. So therefore, like you see actually how these projects, the goals and like the participants and the expectations, all that stuff will be by the time when you guys put in your preferences. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll just answer a quick question that came up during the chat that's kind of related to the previous slide, but the course the class sizes and what 200 level each how large they are. 200 level just denotes that the class is a graduate level course. And so, like I mentioned, there's kind of like three different types of classes. And so the class sizes will actually vary depending on whether or not they're like the mezzanine, advanced topics, or special topics courses. Mezzanine courses tend to be larger. Like I mentioned, like me and Alvin mentioned, they're courses that are meant to help you ramp up for the more advanced topics. And the advanced topics courses tend to be smaller and more kind of like a uh, meant for maybe closer discussions or whatnot within those classes. But yeah, so that's just a clarification.
Right. Some of these classes, they also differ in terms of their format. Some of them are more like lecture based. So the traditional classes that you guys are more used to. Some of them are discussion based. So maybe people talk about like a specific paper that is selected by the instructor, or maybe a list of papers that we go through during the semester. So they vary a lot. You can take a look at the course websites, for example. That's one way I encourage you guys to take a look to see like how the courses are run and what is the format, what is the workload, that sort of stuff. Most of the Berkeley classes have websites online publicly available, so you can just search for the instructor or search for the course numbers or the course subject name, and then you'll be able to find course websites online.
Perfect. Thank you. So I'll cover a couple of the more frequently asked questions, during these presentations, and then also kind of as, they relate to our program specifically. And so I get asked, I'll just go down the list, but the first question is, how does technical course enrollment work? Will I be allowed to take undergraduate EECS coursework? So we released the course lists or the course offerings in early July. That's before your enrollment times begin, which are typically like the third week of July, I think, for the incoming graduate students. So that gives you some time to kind of plan and also take a look at the course offerings. And then typically in mid-October for the spring, because spring enrollment, I believe, starts in early November, I want to say. So again, it gives you, a bit of a buffer between your enrollment period starting and, taking a look at the course offerings to plan your schedules. So we vet the classes that are offered each term for appropriateness for the MEng students. And, we'll also be providing recommendations and, potentially required technical courses for each concentration. These required courses will, we think will really help you succeed in the concentration that you're admitted into and also be relevant to the capstone research and industry. So yeah, our EECS undergraduate classes are actually limited to our undergraduate student populations only. And so, you know, essentially, if you've been admitted into the EECS MEng program, we don't think you'll really need to take the undergraduate versions of any of these classes, uh, or any, kind of shore up any of that stuff. But yeah, if there's really kind of like an exceptional case, you can email me and the vice chairs and we'll consider it. But overall, it's two technical courses per semester, and that's kind of the expectation. So that kind of leads me into the second question, which is, um, can I take additional classes beyond the two required of each semester? So Alvin mentioned, some of these classes are really intense and they do take up quite a bit of time in addition to the fact that you're also going to be, taking the leadership and entrepreneurial coursework, as well as, doing capstone research, doing work in your capstone research teams. So it's really a lot to juggle. And because this program is so brief, it's only, 2 semesters. Um, I've seen thousands of students come through this program. I think it's really, two is really, I think the the appropriate amount that you should be taking. And I've seen people oversubscribe and really just stretch themselves out thin. So I think, you know, it's possible if you want to, but for the fall, I highly recommend just taking two, and then in the spring, if you think you can, and if you want to, you can consider it. But also in the spring, you have research ramping up. You have probably job searches going on, and so again, it's just something that we recommend based on both the coursework being very rigorous and then also all the other kind of commitments that you have for this program. Um, so the next question is, can I look for research opportunities outside of my capstone project and continue on to a PhD program? So I started off the presentation kind of by mentioning that the EECS MEng degree is designed as a terminal master's degree. So it's not meant as a stepping stone towards pursuing a PhD. And so, um, given all the things that, I mentioned that Alvin has talked about, we do discourage taking on research obligations outside of your assigned project. And I think that will help you succeed ultimately in the MEng program. Um, Last question here. Will there be an opportunity for any third semester extensions? No. So the MEng program is meant as a lockstep 2 semester program. And so if there's, kind of issues with you meeting degree requirements that are um, outside of your control, that are extenuating, then we can obviously work with you on that. But the intent was, and the aim is always to have this program last for the year and not beyond that. All right, so here's just a couple of important things to keep in mind. So the April 15th deadline to accept the offer of admission, the SAR deadline, is coming up in a couple of weeks. So April 15th. If you need more time to make a decision, that's totally fine. Just let us know. You can email me or the Fung Institute, and we'll work with you on that. The third week of July is when course enrollment period starts for new incoming graduate students. Like I mentioned, we'll be releasing those course offerings out to you before then, so you have a bit of time to decide your schedule and explore the topics and classes that are offered.
Mike, I
Um,
think there's a question about when the course enrollment actually open, and is it first come, first serve, since you're on the topic.
oh yeah, when does course enrollment open and is it first come, first serve? Yeah, so the structure of course enrollment is like uh new incoming students, new incoming grad students get assigned like a enrollment period or enrollment time. And so I think that will probably all be within like the day, but different maybe periods during the day that people get like their enrollment period or enrollment assignment times. And so uh after that, yes, we have basically a set number of um seats for MEng students in these courses that are open to them. And it'll be kind of a first come, first served uh, format of enrollment. So once that reserve cap has been met, then you would be put onto the wait list for the course. And then if people, drop the course or if the course is expanded, then you would be added from the wait list. But um, we take great attention to detail to kind of making sure that we can accommodate folks in our impacted courses or popular courses. So those reserve caps, I think, they're designed to accommodate for demand. So you really shouldn't have an issue. Um, and again, yeah, I think it should be fine. So don't be too concerned about that. All right, so back to this. August is when the required boot camp courses are going to start. I actually was not able to find the exact dates from the Fung Institute. It's not on their website, but last year it was August 12th. So I'm guessing, they're just finalizing those dates. But the boot camp courses typically begin a couple of weeks before the formal first day of instruction. And so those classes are in alignment to your research and your capstone research and your leadership classes. And there, I believe, are also some online options if folks, are delayed in getting here in person for the on-ground versions. So you'd want to talk to Fung about those. Um, yeah. And then there's also new student orientation. We'll have that exact date, sometime for you, uh, over the summer announcements that I'll send out. August 27th is when fall semester begins. So that's the first day of instruction. So I included a slide here for some student highlights if you're kind of interested in like the experiences of some of our alumni students and their backgrounds or where they're off to or just kind of want a little bit of insight into their thoughts and experiences. Go ahead and click on these links, and then the fourth link has a whole page of stories from prior years. So definitely a good read, very interesting folks coming from all different backgrounds and um, you know different experiences. So yeah, I would recommend taking a look at those. All right, so I'll go kind of down the questions that have been asked so far and see if they haven't been answered yet. But yeah, feel free to kind of like go and go and uh you know type out a question if you have any. I'm just gonna scroll up here. Let's see. Okay, so if you haven't received the official offer letter yet, go ahead and reach out to me because they should have all been sent out. There might be, something from our graduate division's admissions unit that they flagged, so it might be like additional materials or something that's requested. So I'll have to do a little bit of digging and then get back to you on that. But do email me and let me know if you have not gotten that official offer letter yet. Yeah, so this presentation has or is being recorded. I will be sharing the slides out. Um, let's Let's see, scrolling down a little bit more. So we had around 2,400 applicants for the EECS MEng program. EECS MEng receives about half of all the applications across all MEng departments on campus. And so, that kind of gives you a sense of how competitive our program is, and, how elite and prestigious it is to be admitted. So it says project advising office hours are in early August. Is that before the boot camp weeks? Yeah, so the Capstone Marketplace operates on a timeline of, I think so. We'll be sharing or the Fung Institute will be sharing the list of projects to new incoming students in July, I believe, or August, early August. And so then there's kind of a whole marketplace process where you know, kind of send out bids to be a part of a project, and then those faculty will vet your, um, materials if they request anything, do some interviews, and then kind of settle on a final list of students or, provide their preferences. And I think that all gets put into um, a matching process. And so, um, students are asked to give uh, several preferences. I believe it's three. And then that will be, matched against the faculty or the project lead preferences on who they want to staff. Alvin, do you want to talk a little bit about that? I think you have some experience. Oh, and Sanjeet, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, so I think as Michael said, the list of projects will be sent out around July or early August. So that was from last year. And then there's a process for which students put in their preferences, and then the advisors or the capstone project leaders also put in their preferences. And then there's a matching process that goes on. So then that's basically what happens after the preferences have been put in. But then, as mentioned, you guys will have like access to like all the information about like each of the projects, their scope, what is expected, who are the folks involved in each of those projects before you guys make the decision.
Yeah, and let me just jump in. So first of all, want to say hi to all of you. My name is Sanjit Seshia. I'm a professor of electrical engineering, computer sciences. This is going to be my 20th year here at Berkeley. So I want to welcome you all to the department and hope to see all of you joining our department here in the fall. I wanted to also add to what Alvin said about the project process. So one thing I want to add is you're all EECS MEng students, and the projects that you'll see in the marketplace will come from many different mentors. Some of them will be EECS faculty, others will be non-EECS faculty, even outside the department. I think since you're all EECS MEng students, this is my personal experience. I think it'll probably be in your interest, in a best experience to try to participate in a project that is proposed by an EECS faculty member or that includes EECS faculty members. And so while you're participating in that project process, I encourage you to look closely at that and then engage with the people who propose those topics, who will be often postdocs or graduate students who work with faculty, so that you learn more about exactly what those topics are and make sure that you pick a project that really trains you well in the EECS content for all these. Okay, so there's just some personal advice on that.
Thank you, Sanjeet. All right, so going down the chat, there's a question about the conditions of our acceptance letter if we're still in school. Is the only requirement that we graduate on time? So you're evaluated based on your application materials, and that includes probably your last term of coursework and the assumption that you'll continue to do well as you have in completing coursework and graduating. So if there is any change to your kind of trajectory for your undergrad completion, let us know. My email is right there. So go ahead and email me. And then, if there's any things that we should be aware about, then talk to us. Um, all right, what percentage of Fund Excellence Awards are greater than 50%? How common is it that people get off the grant waiting list? I was accepted into a different research area than I'm interested in. Can I change? Okay, so I think I'll start from the last question. If you're accepted into a different research area than I'm interested in, so I mean, in the application itself, there you were asked to kind of rank your areas, and so you were admitted into your top ranked area, and that's what you were also evaluated for. So it's that's kind of your admissions condition is, and so we're not actually entertaining any changes in concentrations. If you're admitted to a concentration that you're not interested in, um, yeah, I mean, you can email me and see, what happened there, but that's kind of how our admissions process just works. So, the second question or the second part of your question, what percentage of Fund Excellence Awards are greater than 50%? Uh, if I am interpreting that right, is that meaning the award amount is going to cover more than 50% of the cost of attendance? So our award amounts are um, ranging up to 20K and anything in between. And opportunity awards are 16K. So that covers, I believe, around 30% or I don't actually know the figure of the full figure of attendance, but it covers a significant portion of your tuition and fees. But it does not cover the supplemental uh tuition. So um that's one aspect of it. But yeah, I think around 30% of our admits do receive some sort of financial support in the form of a fellowship. And so we're rolling those notifications out. And by Friday tomorrow, you should have heard if you were eligible for or if you received a fellowship. As for the how common it is to get off the grant waiting list, I'm not sure of the stats for that. The Fung Institute handles the grant waiting list, so you might want to reach out to them and ask them about that. Will there be a platform where you can communicate with other EECS students for discussions? If not, what are other communication channels that are generally available? So there are a couple of different channels of communication that you can be a part of once you join us. So the EECS department has an EECS Slack that students can join. And there's different channels obviously for different research groups or different interests or whatever. There is also going to be an EECS MEng Slack that I maintain that you can talk to your classmates and just use that as a space. Uh, and then I believe the Fung Institute also has their own, I think it's called FI Connect or whatnot, but it's also a portal that they use to um, kind of provide a space for students to talk. So, MEng students across different departments have that, and then we have our own. But I do generally send out announcements over the EECS MEng listserv, and that's all the kind of like official kind of notices are going to come from that listserv. So yeah. What will happen if we cannot maintain a 3.5 GPA? Well, so when it comes to grad courses, I think if you're getting like a B minus in a grad course, there kind of indicates, some serious gaps in kind of understanding the topics. So our kind of expectation is that you do well in these grad courses. I think grading is maybe slightly different too. Maybe Sanjeet or Alvin, if you want to talk about that. But in general, we just have a high expectation for the students to succeed and to do well in these grad courses. And if you do, have a hiccup or if there are some challenges that you encounter, it's best to let us know sooner than later if you're struggling. I can, work on with you to find you support, either in the form of like a tutor or like, we can work with you to try to tackle that topic. But yeah, Sanjeet.
Yeah, just to add to that, grading in courses are up to the instructor or instructors of that course. And so usually in these courses, the instructors will be giving you regular feedback through the various assignments on where you stand in the course and how well you're doing. And we encourage you all to communicate with instructors, go to office hours and so on, so that you have a pretty good idea of where you stand in the class. And as Michael was saying, if you ever encountered any difficulties, then you should let the instructors know, right? Grading is entirely up to the instructors.
Okay. Um, are 1 year deferrals a possibility? They are assessed on a case-by-case basis. If you have a extenuating circumstance, and you need to request a deferral, you can email me directly. My email is on the slide. I have an internship that conflicts with the August boot camp days. Are there any workarounds for this? You need to contact the Fung Institute about that possibility. There are some online options, and so it could be possible. It's something that's like integral, and also it's advertised as part of this program, though. So I just kind of do want to be upfront about like the expectations that the boot camp is something that you cannot skirt around. But the Fung Institute will definitely work with you to, if you do have some sort of um, issues that prevent you from being here on ground and attending those. Should we be receiving the offer letter in our email or our applicant portal? So you should definitely be getting an email from the portal, and then the portal the email will provide you a link to the portal with the official offer letter, is how I understand it. If you haven't gotten one, go ahead and email me because there might be, like I mentioned, some issues. We, make the recommendations to admit to our graduate divisions office, and they have an admissions unit that further vets these recommendations. So they might have seen something or flagged something that requires kind of additional uh, supporting documentation or some justifications or whatnot. And so I do go through those, but I might not have caught in yours, or there might not have been a flag or whatever. They haven't notified us. So do email me if you're in that situation. Will we be working with students from other areas, i.e., bioengineering for the capstone projects? Yeah, so Alvin and Sanjeet both mentioned there are projects that are offered. Um, not only by EECS faculty, but also by other faculty and also our industry partners. So, um, I think take Sanjeet's advice to heart. Choose the project that most aligns with your research interests, that, has a strong kind of component to what your career, interests and research interests are, and make sure to vet them. So talk to those who are leading the projects, who you'll be working with. But yeah, a lot of the projects have interdisciplinary kind of focuses, and so they are looking to staff their teams with students from different departments and different concentrations. Will unsuccessful scholarships and grant applications also be notified explicitly? N no, if you don't get some notification by tomorrow, so April 4th, end of business day or whatever, then you can assume that you weren't selected for a merit or opportunity award, and then you can apply for the grant waiting list. The boot camp classes typically start around, I want to say mid-August, a couple of weeks before the first day of instruction. And so last year they started August 12th. Going off the timeline, it looks like August 27th would be a Wednesday. And so my guess would be boot camp courses are going to start probably like August 11th, because that would be the Monday prior to the Wednesday that classes start. And that's a couple of weeks. And they usually like to give a buffer of a couple of days before formal instruction begins. So that would be my guess. Fung hasn't actually released the time, but I'm sure they will. I just couldn't find it on their website. So yeah, go ahead and contact them directly, or I would, probably I'll update these slides when I find that information, and they'll be shared. Um, when would you recommend moving to Berkeley? I think that's a great question. I mean, it depends on your particular situation though. I think if you get all your ducks in a row and if you're an international student, for instance, like you would have to go through our Berkeley International office to get your apply for your I-20 and whatnot and get the visa approved and processed. I think, most students look to move here around August is, I would say, like a general timeline. Give yourself like a buffer of a couple of weeks before the boot camp uh, classes start, and so that's probably what I would aim for. But every individual situation is different. But yeah, like I mentioned, the boot camp is part of the MEng program, and so you do have to participate in that. And so presumably be anytime before then. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if there aren't any other questions, this recording will be shared out to folks who weren't able to attend in person. Thank you to those who did attend today. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this energizes you, and we're really hoping to see you in the fall. Again, the slide here has my email. It also has a link to the New Admits web page that the Fung Institute maintains. And so there's additional kind of events and like resources that are on their page that you can take a look at. Yeah. Oh, so there's one more question. So will on-campus housing start at the beginning of the boot camp or so on-campus housing opportunities for grad students, I think you just go through housing.berkeley.edu. I'll type that in there. Take a look at that link. I hope it's the right one, but you can look through the page for graduate housing opportunities, and they'll give you kind of like a time frame of when move-in is. I think it really depends on location. So there is like off-campus graduate housing, that's like a UC Village. That's like a 5-10 minute drive. Has a shuttle that leads to campus and whatnot. But then there's also closer options. and there's like there's a bunch of co-ops too that are university affiliated but not run and maintained by the housing department. So I think that link that I just put down probably has all that information. And then I think maybe the Fung Institute web pages has some resources about that too. But that's a good question. If you wanted to follow up with me, uh, later, just email me. I can do some digging and try to find some stuff. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, Sanjeet. Appreciate it. And so yeah. All right. Take care. I will stop the
Thank you
recording now.
all. And congratulations again to all of you.
See you guys in the fall.